The average new home in America right now costs over $665,000. $665,000. And even the so-called budget existing homes, those are averaging $380,000 and climbing. And that's before interest rates eat you alive. But what if I told you that right now, in 2026, you could get a fully finished, move-in ready, modern home delivered to your land for less than $90,000? Not a tent, not a shed, not some janky camper with a coat of paint. I'm talking about real kitchens, real bathrooms, real insulation, real roofs. Today we're counting down the top 10 turnkey modern modular tiny homes you can actually buy under $90,000 in 2026. And I'm going to give you honest, verified pricing on every single one. No sponsored fluff. No hiding the real numbers. And I'll call out the famous names that have quietly crossed the $90,000 ceiling. Because you deserve to know before you waste your time. Because here's the thing nobody talks about. That $50,000 headline price you keep seeing online, it's often not the full story. And by the time we hit number 1 on this list, you're going to know exactly what a budget and what questions to ask before you put down a single dollar. Before we dive in, if you're serious about affordable housing, alternative living, or building wealth through real estate without the $665,000 mortgage, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell. We drop honest, data-backed content on building and tiny living every single week. And stick around to the end of this video, because number 1 on our list is the wild card that almost nobody talks about. And it could be the most important one for your situation. Alright, let's get into it. Kicking off the list at number 10, and don't let the low ranking fool you, we have the Nomad Cube by Nomad Tiny Homes. These are small footprint modular units built using structural insulated panels, or SIPs, and they come in 2 versions worth knowing about. The original Cube starts around $39,000 and is still available direct and through Amazon. The newer Cube 3, with upgraded finishes and expanded interior, starts at $59,800. Both use the same SIP panel system that gives you serious insulation performance without the bulk of traditional framing. Here's what makes them special: vaulted ceilings. That's the magic trick. Even at 100 square feet, these homes don't feel like a jail cell because the ceiling height gives your brain the breathing room it craves. Honest 2026 pricing. Original Cube base, $39,000. Cube 3 base, $59,800. Site prep plus delivery, $8,000 to $20,000. Utilities hookup, $5,000 to $15,000. Real turnkey range, $52,000 to $85,000, depending on your location and model. Who it's for: solo dwellers, digital nomads, off-grid enthusiasts, or anyone wanting a guest cabin or studio. These also ship flat pack to remote locations, including by helicopter for mountain or backcountry builds. The catch? These are genuinely compact. You need to be all in on the minimal lifestyle. This isn't a starter home for a family of 4. It's a deliberate lifestyle choice. But if you're in that headspace, the Cube is one of the best dollar-for-dollar structures on this entire list. Number 9, Kithaus. And these are genuinely different from almost everything else on this list. Here's what you need to know in 2026. Kithaus has 2 models that matter for our budget. The K3.8, their entry-level studio unit, starts at $45,000. That's your under $90K play. The K4.10, which adds a full bathroom, starts at $77,500. That one still fits our ceiling, but just barely after delivery and hookups, so budget carefully. Both models use an aluminum framing system. Here's the key differentiator: no foundation required. These units sit lightly on the land on adjustable feet, which dramatically cuts your installation costs compared to anything that needs a poured slab. They're popular as home offices, ADUs, that's accessory dwelling units, guest spaces, and art studios. But they function as full-time tiny homes too. Honest 2026 pricing. K3.8 base, $45,000. K4.10 with bath base, $77,500. Delivery and setup, typically $5,000 to $12,000. Utility connections, if running electric and water, $4,000 to $10,000. Real turnkey range, K $3.854,000 to $67,000. Real turnkey range, K $4.1086,500. Tight, but achievable on a simple rural site. The design, modern minimalist. Lots of glass, clean lines, aluminum exterior. If you've ever seen those sleek Japanese-inspired studio structures and thought, I want that, Kithaus is your answer. The catch, no foundation, means some jurisdictions won't permit it as a permanent dwelling. Always check your local zoning laws first. And with the K 4.10, you're threading a needle to stay under $90,000 total. A complicated site will push you over. Know your numbers before you order. Number 8. And this one just became one of the best value entries on the entire list. Here's the updated 2026 reality. Escape Traveler out of Wisconsin has actually become more competitive, not less. The eVista base price is now $53,785, and the eVista XL comes in at $60,175. These prices are lower than what a lot of channels are still reporting. That's a genuine win for buyers right now. The E stands for electric. These units are built around all-electric systems, designed to integrate with solar setups for off-grid or reduced grid living. Both are certified tiny homes on wheels, or THOW, which opens up more parking and placement options in many states compared to structures requiring permanent foundations. Honest 2026 pricing. eVista base, $53,785. eVista XL base, $60,175. Delivery, $1,000 to $5,000 depending on distance from their Wisconsin facility. Solar add-on if desired, $8,000 to $15,000. Turnkey range without solar, $55,000 to $65,000. One of the cleanest under $90K stories on this list. What's included? Full kitchen, bathroom, sleeping loft, electric HVAC. These come genuinely ready to live in. The catch, as a THOW, if you want to park it permanently, you'll need an RV hookup or to negotiate with your municipality. And at 200 to 220 square feet, this is small but thoughtfully designed. The silver lining? At this price point, you've got real budget headroom to invest in a quality solar setup and still land under $80,000 total. Number 7. And here's where I need to give you a critical update that most channels haven't caught yet. You may have seen the Great Lakes Tiny Home Firefly featured on other lists, including older versions of this one. Here's the 2026 truth. The Firefly now starts at $107,900. That's real money, and it blows right past our $90,000 ceiling. So the Firefly is out for this list. But Great Lakes is still very much in, because their A-frame United Studio model comes in at $84,575 base. Same Great Lakes quality. Same ANSI, a 119.5 certified construction. Same metal roofing. Same Amish-made cabinetry with soft-closed drawers. But a price that actually respects our budget. This is why doing your homework matters. The brand is great, but you need to know which model fits your budget, not just the brand name. Honest 2026 pricing. A-frame United Studio base, $84,575. Delivery varies by distance from their Michigan facility. Site setup, if on wheels, $2,000 to $8,000. Turnkey range, $87,000, just under $90,000 on a well-planned site. Why it makes the list. Great Lakes has earned its reputation through build quality that outperforms its price point. The A-frame form factor naturally maximizes headroom and interior feel. And the Appendix Q compliance, that's the International Residential Code's tiny house standard that more and more states are adopting in 2026, means this unit has a much easier time getting permitted as a primary dwelling than non-compliant structures. The catch, you are right at the budget ceiling. This one requires careful site planning. Get your delivery and hookup quotes before you order to make sure you're not going over. Number 6. And this is another important 2026 update that completely changes the game for one specific type of buyer. I originally had New Frontier Designs Luna at this spot. I love that design. But honest is honest. The Luna now starts at $150,000. $150,000. It's a luxury product now. Full stop. And it has no business being on an under $90K list. So it's out, in its place. And this is a smarter entry anyway. is the Backcountry Hut Company's S-System Shell Kit. This is their Scandinavian-inspired modular cabin concept specifically engineered for off-grid and remote locations. And their shell kit pricing stays well under $50,000. Now, shell kit means you're getting the structural envelope. You're finishing the interior yourself or with a local contractor. For some of you, that's a deal breaker. For others, it's exactly the opportunity you've been looking for, because it's how you get a beautiful architect-designed structure on your land for a total turnkey cost that fits our ceiling. The Backcountry system uses pre-cut, numbered components. No crane needed. No heavy machinery. Every piece can be carried by hand. People have literally helicopter airlifted these to mountain sites with no road access. Honest 2026 pricing. S-System Shell Kit. Under $50,000. Interior finishing, DIY assisted or contractor $15,000 to $35,000. Off-grid solar plus water, $8,000 to $20,000. Real turnkey range, $55,000 to $85,000 for a fully finished off-grid unit. Why it makes the list? No other option at this budget serves the truly remote buyer this well. If you're building on land without road access, power, or municipal water, this is your answer. And the aesthetic? Clean shed roof lines, simple geometry, materials that age beautifully. It looks like it belongs on a Scandinavian architecture blog. The catch? You need to be honest with yourself about your finishing skills or your contractor budget. The shell gets you there structurally. The interior is your job. Number 5, and this one continues to be the value per dollar king on this entire list. Clever Tiny Homes took a different approach. Instead of offering endless customization options, they designed a limited set of thoughtful layouts and then built them assembly line style using bulk materials purchasing. The result? Significantly lower prices than comparable competitors, and the pricing has stayed honest. Their Clever S Studio model comes in at $69,995 base as of Q1 2026. It's certified for placement as either a tiny home on wheels or, in select states, as a modular ADU on a foundation. That dual certification is rare and genuinely valuable. Honest 2026 pricing. Clever S base, $69,995. Foundation installation, select states available through their partner network. RV hookup option, as low as $3,000 to $6,000 for hookups. Turnkey range, $73,000 to $80,000. Clean, predictable, well under ceiling. Why it's number 5, flexibility. Very few tiny home companies let you choose between wheels or foundation placement, depending on your zoning situation. Clever gives you 2 products in one, and their pricing is among the most transparent in the industry. What they publish is what you pay. Also worth noting, Clever Tiny Homes has been increasingly focused on Appendix Q IRC compliance in 2026, which makes permitting significantly more straightforward in the growing number of states adopting that standard. The catch? They don't do custom builds. What you see is what you get. And for some buyers, that limited menu is a deal breaker. But for most, it simplifies a decision that can otherwise eat up months of your life. Number 4, and this one is for the people who want something that looks like, an actual house. Pratt Homes has been building modular homes since 1996, nearly 30 years in the business. And their tiny home and cottage series sits in a sweet spot between manufactured home and modular tiny home. Important 2026 note. Their popular Longview cottage model has a base price that now climbs toward $140,000. That's out of our range. But their smaller cottage and studio models in the 400 to 500 square foot range still land comfortably under $90,000 at the base price. So again, it's about knowing which model to ask for, not just the brand. If the corrugated steel and industrial aesthetics of modern tiny homes aren't your style, Pratt builds homes that look like traditional cottages. Pitched roofs, proper porches, windows that normal people look at and immediately say, oh, that's a house. Honest 2026 pricing. Smaller cottage/studio models. Approximately $60,000 to $85,000 base. Site work and foundation. $8,000 to $25,000. These are designed for permanent foundation placement. Turnkey range. $70,000 to $90,000 depending on site complexity. Why it makes the list? Longevity and track record. When a company has been building homes for 30 years, you have real warranty accountability. You're not betting on a startup with nice Instagram photos. The catch? Pratt is regionally focused. Check availability in your state. Their distribution network isn't nationwide the way some manufacturers are. And always confirm which specific model you're pricing. The brand spans a wide price range. Number 3, and yes, Backcountry Hut Company earns a second appearance on this list. That's not an accident. They have genuinely 2 distinct product lines that serve 2 different buyers. At number 6, we covered their shell kit for the DIY inclined buyer. Here at number 3, we're talking about their fully finished module system. These arrive nearly complete and can be assembled without cranes or heavy machinery. Every component is carry-by-hand portable. Some have literally been airlifted by helicopter to off-grid mountain sites. The 191 square foot base module is the starting point. You can live in it solo or as a couple, or you can combine modules to create a larger compound. The system is genuinely stackable. The aesthetic is inspired by alpine fire lookouts, clean shed roofs, simple geometry, materials that age beautifully in the outdoors. Honest 2026 pricing. Full base module, approximately $45,000 to $65,000. Additional modules, stackable at similar per module pricing. Off-grid solar plus water, $10,000 to $25,000. Transport to remote location, highly variable. Turnkey range for a single finished module with off-grid setup, $60,000 to $90,000. Why it's number 3? No other company on this list serves the truly remote, off-grid buyer at this price. If you're building on land without road access, power, or municipal water, this is your answer. The catch? The base module is intentionally small. If you need space, you're ordering multiple modules, which pushes the budget. Be honest with yourself about what you actually need before you order. Okay, number 2. And this is where I need to give you the honest breakdown that most channels skip because they're too worried about upsetting the hype train. Boxabl. You probably heard the name. Elon Musk famously lived and won on the SpaceX campus. They've been talked about more than almost any tiny home company in recent memory. The Casita Studio is a 361 square foot, factory-built modular home that folds flat for transport and unfolds on site. Full kitchen with full-sized appliances. Bathroom. HVAC. Wide plank flooring. 9.5-foot ceilings. 8 large windows. It's genuinely impressive engineering. Now, the honest pricing breakdown. The advertised base price is $60,000. That's real. That's what the box costs from the factory. Here's what that $60,000 does not include. Shipping, $3 to $10 per mile from their Las Vegas factory. Foundation, $10,000 to $25,000 for a code-compliant slab. Site prep, $4,000 to $15,000 depending on your land. Utility hookups, electric, water, sewer, $8,000 to $20,000 and up. Permits, $2,000 to $12,000 depending on your state and county. Real all-in total in 2026. In a straightforward rural install, you can land around $90,000. In California or other high-regulation coastal markets, real buyers are reporting $134,000 to $149,000 total costs. That is not a rumor. That is what people are actually paying. So why is it number 2 instead of off the list? Because if you already own land, if your site is simple, if you're in a rural county, the Boxabl is genuinely achievable under $90,000 installed. But you must get a site assessment before you commit. Budget based on your specific dirt, not the headline number. The catch? Availability. Boxabl has had well-documented production scaling challenges. Demand is still significantly outpacing supply in 2026. Get on the wait list early and confirm lead times before making financial plans around a delivery date. Number 1, and I promise you a wild card. Here it is. What I'm calling the mini-mod expandable system isn't one specific company. It's a growing category of modular homes built on expandable, stackable module architecture that is genuinely changing the math on affordable housing in 2026. Here's the concept. You start with a base module, typically 270 to 400 square feet, priced between $45,000 and $65,000. But unlike a tiny home on wheels, this system is designed to grow. Need more space next year? Add a module. Have a baby? Add a module. Want to turn it into an Airbnb duplex? Add a module. These units typically arrive nearly complete, requiring just a few days for installation on concrete pillar footings, which dramatically reduces foundation costs compared to full slabs. And with more states now adopting Appendix Q of the International Residential Code in 2026, that's the IRC's dedicated tiny house compliance pathway, these modular expandable systems are finding it much easier to get permitted as primary dwellings than ever before. If a builder tells you their unit is Appendix Q compliant, that matters. Ask for it. The large sliding glass doors on most of these systems pull the outdoors in, making even a 270 square foot module feel significantly more open than the square footage suggests. Honest 2026 pricing. Base module, 270 to 400 square feet, $45,000 to $65,000. Concrete pillar foundation, $3,000 to $8,000. Much cheaper than a full slab. Delivery and installation, $5,000 to $12,000. Utility hookups, $5,000 to $15,000. Real turnkey total, $58,000 to $88,000. Genuinely under $90,000 in most scenarios. Why it's number one? 3 reasons. First, it's the only category on this list with a true growth path. You're not locked into 270 square feet forever. Your home literally scales with your life. Second, the economics work in almost every geographic market. Unlike some options that blow the budget the moment you're in a high-regulation state, the concrete pillar foundation system keeps installation costs controlled across the board. Third, the rental income potential. A base module under $90,000 all in, rented on a short-term platform at even $80 to $100 a night in the right location, can generate a full return on investment in 2 to 3 years. We're talking about turning a $90,000 investment into a cash-flowing asset. Not just a place to live, but a financial strategy. The catch: research your manufacturer carefully. This is a fast-growing segment with excellent builders, and some bad actors riding the wave. Ask for past client references. Ask to tour a completed build. Use milestone-based payment schedules. Never pay 100% up front to anyone in this space. Before you run out and drop money on any of these, I need to give you 3 warnings that will save you thousands of dollars. Warning number 1. Turnkey doesn't always mean what you think. In 2026, there is no universal definition of turnkey in the modular tiny home industry. For some builders, turnkey means the unit is fully finished at the factory. For others, it means they handle delivery and placement. And for some, it means true move-in ready, including foundation, utilities, and permits. Always ask specifically, what exactly is included in your turnkey price, and what costs am I responsible for on my end? Warning number 2. Zoning will make or break your project. This is the number one thing buyers overlook. A beautiful $70,000 tiny home sitting on a piece of land where it can't legally be occupied is a $70,000 mistake. Before you buy anything, confirm your zoning, confirm your county's minimum square footage requirements, and confirm whether those are allowed as primary dwellings. The good news in 2026, more states are adopting Appendix Q of the International Residential Code, which creates a real, legal pathway for tiny homes to be permitted as permanent dwellings. Ask your builder if their unit is Appendix Q compliant. It could be the difference between a home and an expensive lawn ornament. Call your county planning office. It's free. Warning number 3. Scams are surging. Prefab and tiny house scams have increased significantly heading into 2026. The red flags are consistent. AI-generated photos of builds that don't exist, prices that seem impossible even by our standards, requests for 100% payment upfront, and no verifiable past clients. Legitimate builders use milestone-based payment schedules and can connect you directly with real past customers. If they can't, walk away. All right, let's recap the updated, verified top 10 for 2026. Number 10, Nomad Cube, $39,000 to $59,800 base, ultra compact SIP panel freedom. Number 9, Kithaus K3/K4, $45,000 to $77,500 base, no foundation, aluminum modern design. Number 8, Escape Traveler E-Vista/XL, $53,700 to $60,200 base. Electric ready, best value on the list. Number 7. Great Lakes A-Frame United Studio. $84,575 base. Proven build quality. Appendix Q compliant. Number 6. Backcountry Hut S-System Shell Kit. Under $50,000. Best entry for the DIY capable off-grid buyer. Number 5. Clever Tiny Homes Clever S. $69,995. Value King. Wheels or foundation flexibility. Number 4. Pratt Homes Cottage / Studio Models. $60,000 to $85,000. 30 years of track record. Number 3. Backcountry Hut Full Module. $45,000 to $65,000 base. Best finished off-grid remote solution. Number 2. Boxabl Casita. $60,000 base. Understand your site cost before you commit. Number 1. Mini Mod Expandable Systems. $58,000 to $88,000 turnkey. The only option that grows with you and cash flows. And the 2 you'll see on other lists that are no longer honest inclusions for under $90,000. Great Lakes Firefly. Now starts at $107,900. New Frontier Luna. Now starts at $150,000. Both are great products, just not for this budget in 2026. The housing market in 2026 is brutal, but it is not hopeless. Not if you're willing to think differently about what a home can look like. For under $90,000, you can own something real, something beautiful, and something that's genuinely yours, on your terms. If this video helped you, drop a comment below and tell me which of these 10 caught your eye. I read every single comment. And if you want to go deeper, our next video breaks down exactly how to find land for your tiny home under $30,000. And yes, that's real. Click right here to watch it next. I'll see you there.